Wendy, yo, how's your day going? See, I'm glad to be back to school. Shit, had too much time off. All right, had to get me a adult beverage squared away. Yeah, it's a soda, but I poured a little bit of something in there. Man, that's strong. Mm. a little something, something. Not much, just a little bit, a little taste.
มาดูวิธีหาปลาครับดู
What the heck is all that? All right. Let's get some painting done. At least try to do something. Oh man. Yeah, that's woo! Oh man. That's a bit much. Damn. Mm. Mm.
This app is transcribing everything I say perfectly. And it even syncs automatically to my desktop app, which makes it perfect for recording class notes.
You know, what the real deal is this. They up there starving. They don't have no grass in their yard. I know y'all can't see it out there, but if you got about this much money, we can get it on. And what I'm gonna give you, gonna be able to whip it up, and from 36 get you 55 and come on up in this rap game. So man, get your mind on it, man. Let's do this.
Okay, 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 okay. Okay, okay, okay. Everything is okay, okay. No, we making them dollars. No, we making them holla. No, they want the holla. Everything we do is okay. Okay, 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 okay. Everything is okay. It's okay. Everything is okay. Yeah, it's okay. Everything is okay. It's okay. Everything is okay. Okay. You can follow the leader. You can follow the teacher. You can follow the leader. You can follow the right to the. It's not you walk the dark side. Cross line.
Are you a professional musician? Sophie's a professional musician, and I'm about to hand her an award for hitting 50K on her first try, which is amazing. And then we have Robert here, 25K, first try. We have Mark, 25K, first try. Murphy, 25K, first try. And then Donna, 25K, first try. And look,
But the real deal is this. They up there starving. They don't have no grass in their yard. I know y'all can't see it out there, but if you got about this much money, we can get it on. And what I'm gonna give you, gonna be able to whip it up and from 36, get you 55 and come on up in this rap game. So man, get your mind on it, man. Let's do this.
Oh man, I need to write just like some references down real quick. And I ain't got no paper. I need a piece of paper real quick. Here goes something right here. Boozy, what's good, bro? got some little references.
They up there starving. They don't have
I say Prince, they making the moves. Never been Boo Boo the Fool. I gotta put that Boo Boo the Fool in there some kind of way.
What I'm gonna give you gonna be a whip.
I was watching this black lady, looks like somebody auntie. She go around asking white people what black people do, like real black people shit. It's the funniest thing. And she walked up on this one lady. She is like, "Who is Boo Boo the Fool?" Jay Boozy. Who is that? Boo Boo. Who is Boo Boo the Fool? The lady was like, "I don't know." My answer would have been, the person you think I am. If a black mama tell you, "Go on, keep it up," are you supposed to keep it up? No, you're not. You're supposed to stop whatever the fuck you doing. And she asked a bunch of like weird, silly culture questions. Omizu. She said, who is Boo Boo the Fool? That must be who you think I am. Why do I keep getting confused on this piece right here? So this comes, wait a minute. So this is that. So I'm actually here, right? Okay, so I'm here. I am so fucking confused right now. What I'm gonna do is get some more blues on this thing. These are damn near dry as hell. Oh man, I keep forgetting to empty this trash can right here too. All right. Ay, 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 ay. Been in the rules, never been Boo Boo the Fool. My squad make it do what it do. We do what it do. We do what it do. Changing the mood. Been in the rules, never been Boo Boo the Fool. Do what it do. Changing the mood. Been in the rules, never been Boo Boo the Fool. Oh. Why is this shit losing my eye so much?
Hmm. My bad, guys. I am so confused right now. Just trying to think this thing out real quick. Just gonna reposition some of these flowers. I should have took more time on laying down this underpainting because a lot of these flowers are like not positioned well at all. At all. Well, it's Monday again. It is a Monday. A big fat Monday. And we're all here for it. That's a good thing. We all we are all here for Monday again. Just another manic Monday. Hmm. Well, damn, I'm resizing, reshaping, and repositioning of a couple of these damn flowers. It's just not. It's not. This isn't the greatest thing ever, man. Should have paid more attention to the previous step, and then I wouldn't be struggling so hard right now. Cause I'm struggling to figure out which leaf is which leaf and which flower is which flower.
it up and from 36 get you 55 and come on up in this rap game. So man, get your mind on it, man. Let's do this. But the real deal is this. They up there starving. They don't have no grass in their yard. I know y'all can't see it out there, but if you got about this much money, we can get it on. And what I'm gonna give you, you're gonna be able to whip it up and from 36 get you 55 and come on up in this rap game. So man, get your mind on it, man. Let's do this.
What I thought was Big Snoop D-O-double-G. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void. And darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light, and it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day. And the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament.
And that's that part right there.
Today's video, the White House puts activist judges on notice. Tom Homan has to shut down the media.
When you talk about flat earth, like if you're a Bible believer, you have to believe in the firmament. That's the first part of the creation story, is God placed a firmament over the world to separate the waters above and the waters below. What the fuck does that even mean? What does that mean? And are we under a dome? It sounds like we're under a dome. When you read the description in Genesis of creation, it sounds like we're under a dome and the earth is flat. I'm just saying that's what it sounds like, you know? And of course, it was written, you know, by people who didn't have all the advancements in science and technology that we have nowadays. But I think that they feel like they had a pretty decent understanding of the world and how it works. But also, you know, they talk about the firmament. So I don't know. I don't know.
After another misleading story, and mainstream media publishes polls that contradict each other.
White House has put up about 100 posters of what they say
It's
are
420.
unauthorized immigrants who have been arrested for violent crimes. You can see them there. They put them up on the driveway of the White House. If you look here, that's the West Wing just at the forefront, the executive mansion itself to the left. But what's particularly noteworthy about this location is right directly behind the positions where TV correspondents do their hits from the White House lawn. So therefore, no matter what network you're on, that includes MSNBC, if you're doing a hit from the White House right now, those pictures will be behind you. The White House is doing a briefing in about a half hour about what they're doing here.
Let's just understand what's going on here. Administration loves to respond when mainstream media starts running misleading stories about what they're doing. For example, over the weekend, the misleading story was what? The Trump administration is deporting 4-year-olds, 2-year-olds, 7-year-olds, American citizens. And the way to own the narrative again is to do something like this. I think that's what's going on. I think they're playing politics all day long. And so as a result, these scumbags are very clear here on the screen. Who are they? Well, arrest of a Jamaican national convicted of first-degree murder. Another one was convicted of rape. Another one convicted of murder, aggravated sexual assault of a child, predatory sexual assault of a child. We go on and on and on. These are the worst of the worst. That's the point. Now, Fox News believes this is a warning to activist judges. Take a look.
You can see behind us in the wider shot, the North Lawn is dotted with 100 yard signs that show illegal immigrant mugshots next to the heinous crime that they've been accused of. And if there are judges in this country who are trying to help these illegal immigrants, the 100 listed on the lawn, avoid prosecution, then the White House has a big problem with them too.
So expect this week to be a reminder of all the things that President Trump has accomplished, because what the White House is doing as well is that it's a celebration of the first 100 days in office. So they're going to highlight all of the accomplishments, and this is one of them. But that doesn't mean MSNBC is going to go along with this, okay? Because they're already pushing back at the 100 mugshots on the White House lawn.
You seen that ad? Control the pawns to the left and to the right, +1 and -2, kind of a running forward, getting stronger game. It looks so.
Because here's what they said.
So I have to say, one of the biggest challenges that we have with the deportation that we know of so far, for example, with Kilmer Abreu Garcia, we don't know if they've had due process. We don't know if, in fact, these individuals do have a rap sheet. So I would encourage those individuals that have that as a backshot to blur those people out. The job of journalism is to ensure that we are presenting the facts, that we are cross-referencing. We know that PolyFact actually checked the Trump administration because of an earlier picture that they released on Kilmer, recognizing that it was altered, that it was false, that they placed gang signs on him, gang signs, tattoos on him that weren't real. And so I would really, the press right now, we are absolutely under attack. Our job is always to have our true north, to make sure that we're presenting balanced news, and making sure that we are not putting folks that are potentially in danger, and having that representation of those pictures in the background. We can't allow that to basically for us to carry the water of potentially innocent people. So I would encourage, I recognize live shots are tough, but I would encourage folks to actually make sure that those shots are blurred to the best of your abilities.
Okay, so if someone can please explain this to me, how is putting 100 mugshots of illegal aliens in the White House lawn putting people in danger? I'd really love for someone to explain that. That's number one. But number two, she goes on this rant about Mr. Garcia and how photos were doctored. Let's say we believe her, right? Let's say she's right. The photos were doctored. Was the court documents doctored as well, where the judge acknowledged that Mr. Garcia was and is a MS-13 gang member? Also, were the court documents doctored when his wife accused him of beating her up? And the White House is already responding to the media who refuses to report on this properly. Here's what they said.
Well, look, the mainstream media, as you know, Brian, doesn't want to cover this story. What we've done is get violent criminals and other lowlifes on the street. It's literally a murderer's row here on the lawn of the White House. And these are people that we've taken out of the country since we came into office. Last month, we had the lowest border crossings on record. And that's a result of not new legislation, as Biden said we would need, but just a new president getting the job done. We've reunited over 5,000 children with their families or safe guardians since we came into office. We're cleaning up our communities. We're getting rid of all these guys. I mean, look at these. These are all heinous crimes. These are violent crimes. That would be a Law and Order episode. And we have to get all of them out of the country.
And here's another example of how Democrats see this. Jessica from the 5 on Fox News wrote this. The Trump administration's response to deporting a 4-year-old American with cancer. Put up your yard signs. Now, we already debunked that misleading story, by the way, because the 4-year-old, right, is an American citizen, but the mother is an illegal alien. And the mother requested that the 4-year-old go with her back to her home country. That's the actual story here, folks. So I think one important question that needs to be answered is, where are we at actually when it comes to deportations? What are the numbers? How many are still left in the country? And I think even more important than that probably would be, how many violent, criminal, illegal aliens are still left in this country, and also ones that the Trump administration believes is a national security threat? Will Tom Homan answer that this morning?
How many of the individuals that are in the United States illegally are people like this, really bad people?
Well, first of all, how many illegal aliens I think in the United States? At least 20 million. Here's where'd you come with that number? We've been speaking about 12 million for 20 years. We know we got 10.5 that we know of came to the border. How many do we know of? I talk about known gotaways at 2 million. How many unknown gotaways do we have? Like between the Big Bend sector in Texas, where there's no technology, how many 1,000 people dig across there? We wouldn't know. We would know now. But, you know, so I would venture over 20 million. But your question is, last count, last I looked, there was about 700,000 illegal aliens with criminal charges walking the streets of this country. 700,000. And that's what we're looking for now. That's what we're prioritizing. Them and national security threats.
And that's the answer. But again, mainstream media is not going to acknowledge that the Trump administration is going after 700,000, not the 20 million, right? They are prioritizing, which I always knew they would, because it just makes logical sense to go after the most violent and people that they deem to be national security threats. And this segues perfectly into our next story. For some reason, over the weekend, there's been a coordinated effort to drop poll after poll after poll showing President Trump with a negative approval rating, but more importantly, that he's upside down on immigration. Now, I'm not too sure I actually believe these polls, and I'm going to show you some reasons why with some receipts. But first, let's hear how they're using this talking point to suppress the accomplishments that the White House was actually trying to highlight today. So let's start here with how ABC questioned Tom Homan this morning.
Latest ABC News, Washington Post, and Ipsos poll shows 53% of Americans disapprove of President Trump's handling of immigration. A plurality, 48%, say President Trump is going too far in deporting undocumented immigrants. What's your response to that?
I canceled my Midjourney subscription because this AI does everything I need. I can upload my own photos and create perfectly consistent images and characters from them. And it's not limited to just one character. I can maintain consistency across multiple characters and different scenes. You can even recreate any image you see on the internet. Just upload your own content.
Now, look, I'm not running a popularity contest. I'm enforcing the laws. And by securing the border, like I said this morning, we have the most secure border in the history of the nation today. And like I said, crossings are down 96, 97%, depending on what week you look at. And like I said this morning, secured borders save lives. No one wants to talk about that. Because in the last 4 years, we had a 600% increase in sex trafficking. You had over 400 people on terrorist watch lists that crossed that southern border. You had 250,000 Americans dying of fentanyl coming across that border. We're saving lives every day, and that's not the story gets out. So a lot of this polling has to do with the misreporting by much in the media out there.
Tom Homan's been warning American citizens about this mess for quite some time. And that's why I'm going to warn you at this point, along with our sponsor, about your retirement. It's no secret that President Trump has declared a trade war with China. He's standing up to them finally. But this is not stopping billionaires like Warren Buffett from dumping $133 billion worth of stocks. That's why thousands of IRA and 401k savers are shielding their savings with gold. And I trust the experts at Colonial Metals Group to help you do the same. So head over to freegoldguide.com/DeBory or call 1-888-757-5158 to receive a free gold guide on how to bulletproof your savings with gold tax-free. You can also qualify for a free home safe and $7,500 of free silver. Again, you can head to freegoldguide.com/DeBory or call 1-888-757-5158 or click the link in the description below.
Start with what you said this morning. The President Trump's border policies are saving lives. You say fewer people are making that journey, meaning fewer people are dying along the way, fewer women are being sexually assaulted and trafficked, fewer Americans are losing their lives to fentanyl brought across the border. And these numbers are dramatic. You're saying border crossings have gone from 15,000 illegal border crossings, from 15,000 a day down to, you said, 178, I think, in the past 24 hours. So amid that, what do you say to concerns for those who are trying to escape violent situations in their countries?
Oh, look, there's a legal way to claim asylum and there's an illegal way to claim asylum. And if we look at the past 4 years of the Biden administration, millions of people came to the border and made an asylum claim. But if we look at the immigration court data over the last 10 years, EOIR, Executive Immigration Review, immigration courts, it shows over the last decade, nearly 9 out of 10 people who make an asylum claim at the border end up with an order removal because they're not escaping fear and persecution from the homeland because of their political affiliation or race or religion. So, and we got to remember why 9 out of 10 are making a false asylum claim. They're clogging up the system because there are tens of thousands of people in this world who really are escaping fear and persecution from the homeland because of race or religion or political affiliation are standing back of the line. So the data speaks for itself. This is about asylum fraud, not about asylum.
You ever ask yourself this question? I ponder it sometimes. Like, what if the media used the same amount?
I can't help but feel this way. You know, like, fix your own country. Oh, we're running to escape persecution for whatever reason. Fix your own country. Fix your own country. I want to just leave. No. Sorry. This time around, in this lifetime, in this iteration of your soul journey, you were placed in a fucked up situation, and that is terrible. Because I could not imagine being born in Libya or Syria or fucking Gaza, the Gaza Strip right now. Like, I can't imagine that. I can't imagine being from like some poor South American country, or in a poor section of Mexico where the cartel literally is the law. I can't imagine what a day-to-day existence like that must be. It must be horrific and tragic, constantly terrifying, and super high levels of stress, like every waking moment. But that's the situation you got. Try to fix your own shit, man. We got our own shit here, you know? We have our own problems here. Don't flee your homeland. Stay where the fuck you're at. And put some effort into fucking resolving your own issues. Instead of coming here making shit worse for the people who are already here. That's just how I feel about it. I know it's a very harsh stance, but I think, in previous years, it would have been fine. And maybe one day in the not too distant future, it'd be fine. But like right now, like this experiment called America is about to implode upon itself. And I don't know, the people who have been here for generations need to figure some shit out before that happens. Because the rules are changing fast, man. Like, and I understand, like, trust me, I understand all the nuances of everything. But and I also understand that I'm not well traveled. I've never left this country before. I've never lived anywhere else. I've never had to live underneath a different culture or a different government system. So I know I'm very biased in that way as well. But there are moments here in America where I can be in a situation where I'm the only English speaking person in the room, and I find that uncomfortable. I only speak English. I don't speak other languages. Now, is that anyone's fault other than mine? I don't think so. I wouldn't put that on anyone else that, hey, you never took the time to learn a different language. But at the same time, like I said, I'm not well traveled. I'm not. But I can't imagine like going to Japan and then being in a room where everybody's speaking English except like one Japanese person. You know? Like I couldn't see that shit in reverse somewhere else. But here in America, there's very extensive enclaves of non-Americans, and they don't assimilate. They don't assimilate, and they don't try to assimilate. And so, going by just the standard norms of the rule of law and how things should be, that's not fair. Well, that's not right, is it? That's definitely not right. Damn it, man. It's like every nation has its national language, the language of the nation, and you should abide by that. And I would imagine if I moved to Finland, I would have to learn Finnish. I wouldn't even want to insult native speakers to me living in your country and not knowing your language. If I moved to Mexico, I would definitely have to beef up my Spanish. You know. But here, I just noticed like there's really large pockets of communities that are not American communities at all. And they don't try to hide it either. So I think America is slipping in that way. Then you have to think too about colonialism and all of the other stuff that took to establish America. And, that's a really rough history right there. So are things reverting back to how it was previously? Is there a natural order that's settling back in? I don't know. Mm-hmm. Shit is getting weird, man. Shit is getting weird, and there's a lot of touchy shit going on. I definitely get that, but man, I work too hard for not enough money and pay too many taxes to have anybody suckling off the system. To have anybody suckling off the system, because that's my tax dollars, you know. And then I need to go sit on the city council because my school taxes are so erroneous, and it's just like our education around here sucks. Where's the fucking money going, guys? You know what? If y'all can't bring these goddamn test scores up and graduate more kids, I don't think I should be paying this much in fucking taxes. Where is the money going? How is there anybody on the on the school board who makes fucking 90,000, $110,000 a year? What the fuck are you doing? How do you make $110,000 a year but have one of the highest dropout rates in the region? Have some schools with some of the highest illiteracy in the region, but you can sit on on the school board and make $110,000 a year. Doing what? I don't think so. Some of that shit don't be seeming legitimate. It's like, damn.
Of energy and focus on actual victims that are American citizens due to fentanyl, due to human trafficking, illegal aliens who are committing crimes, especially terror organizations that have been set up here in our country. Oh, how about this? Even the scammers overseas who obviously are hacking people's personal information, committing identity fraud, and also scamming senior citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if they actually focus their energy on issues like that. They're so caught up in this whole moral high ground that they believe they hold, they lose touch with just average Americans because it doesn't pass the common sense test of how they talk about these things. Now, here's another example of that.
Betsy, how is the White House responding to these very bad polling numbers?
Well, the response is really just to change the subject. They are here celebrating how the president has performed over his first 100 days in office. And today is the focus is on immigration. So you can see the signs behind me highlighting some of the illegal immigrants they say have been arrested and convicted of crimes. Of course, it also comes as we've learned that 3 U.S. citizen children, a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old who is suffering from cancer, were deported alongside their mothers who were undocumented immigrants over the weekend. Asked in the Atlantic interview what would happen if the administration accidentally got this wrong, the president said, "Let me tell you, nothing will ever be perfect in this world." Wolf.
So Betsy, those signs behind you on the north lawn of the White House, they were placed there by White House officials, not by the news media, right?
That's exactly right. And, you know, the president is so keenly aware of stagecraft. These have been behind every television live shot all day today, everyone taking pictures and getting that message out on their behalf.
Okay, so can someone please explain where Wolf Blitzer was going with that type of question? Did the news media put up the yard signs on the White House lawn? Where is he going with that? And secondly, you saw how they led with the entire narrative that Trump is deporting American citizens. We're talking about the 3 children, 4, 7, and 2-year-olds, but they failed to mention that their mothers are illegal aliens. For some reason, they always leave that out. Now here's Tom Homan shutting the media down once again on this story.
If you enter this country legally, it's a crime. If you remain in this country illegally and you ignore a judge's order about deporting, if you choose to have a U.S. citizen child, knowing you're in this country legally, you put yourself in that position. You put your family in that position. What we did is remove children with their mothers who requested their children depart with them. This was a parental decision. Parenting 101. The mothers made that choice. And I tell you what, if we didn't do it, the story today would be Trump administration separating families again. No, we're keeping families together.
Mm-hmm. Can't win for losing. That's what you can't, these motherfuckers can't win for losing. I'm happy he said that because that's what I was thinking. If you would have kept the kids, they would have cried about that shit. Ain't no winning. You can't win with the motherfuckers who don't want to use logic. And that's what I tell I teach in the prison. I tell every motherfucker in there, somehow, some way or another, you put yourself here. You can kind of blame it on some people sometimes. Oh, I was with my homie and he had something on him, and he wouldn't fess up so they took everybody in the car. Well, nigga, you hanging around that motherfucker then. You hanging around him. Okay, it wasn't your whatever. You weren't even driving. You just in the car. You put yourself in the fucking car, and now look at you. You're in jail. Point blank, period. Take ownership for everything all the fucking time, yo. And goddamn, like he said, if you come over here and you know for a fact you are illegal and you're not supposed to be in this country and you have kids here and you're not supposed to be here, you put yourself in that position. You put yourself in that situation. Now, not just you and your children are in that situation. Why? Because you're not even supposed to be here. You're not even supposed to be here. But America make it so easy for illegals. Para Español número dos. Like, what the fuck is that shit? Not trying to hate on no Spanish speakers at all, but like, what the fuck is that? I'm in America. I shouldn't have an option to speak Spanish. There should be no Lebanese option, no Japanese option, no German option, no French option, no Spanish option. There shouldn't be none of that shit here. You should speak fucking English. But they make it easy for Spanish speakers to be here, and they get so comfortable. Hey, I'd have had a whole family, nigga. I can't imagine that shit. Once again, I can't imagine like moving to France, meeting some French chick and just having like 2-3 kids. No pet, knowing I ain't supposed to live in this fucking country. What the fuck? And then some countries don't even play that shit. You can't go to goddamn Vietnam and North Korea and Russia and do no shit like that. Period. Some countries not playing that bullshit, man. You can't even go to China. Hey, a lot of places you just can't go do that shit. But America, you pregnant? Oh, you don't got no ID or nothing, no Social Security. Oh yeah, just go to the hospital still. You can have your kids here. We're giving birth certificate, Social Security number. Now you using your kids' Social Security card. You don't think that's how they be getting a lot of IDs and a lot of shit? Assume the identity of their children. Black people only, put the phone bill in the kid's name because they credit bad. Now your kid get older and they got bad credit because they owe on a phone bill for 13 years ago. What the fuck? I ain't had no phone 13 years ago. Oh, your mama put a phone in her name, in your name for herself. On some dumb shit. The light bill being your little brother name. What the fuck? That nigga 11. How his name on the light bill? Oh, I got the lights turned off at my last apartment, so they don't fuck with me no more because I owe on the account. And if I want to get lights turned on in my name, I gotta pay $1,100 before they turn it because I owe. Oh, nigga, see, that'd be that weird shit. That'd be that weird shit. But hey, at least we natural born citizens. And if I was born in Egypt or Pakistan or wherever, I believe I feel the same way about my homeland. I'm born here, and you not. The fuck you mean? I was born here, and you wasn't. When you come here, act right, motherfucker. We do shit different here. It's not Arabia. It's not fucking Chile or Argentina, nigga. This the United States, America, bitch, America. Home of the slave, land of the beast. Mm. And I've been feeling like this way before this Trump shit, yo. And for a long time, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, fuck America, man. I know American history. This is not the best place as far as morals. As far as morals is concerned, this is not the best place. This ain't no Shambhala, or Shangri-La, none of that shit. But as far as ingenuity and creativity, America got a lot to offer. Now we got all the nukes and everything now. Every good thing got to come to an end, though. I ain't lying. Like I said, this might be you know, the pendulum swinging back and things trying to balance itself back out. Because America was black and brown before the Europeans came. Now this shit turning brown fast than a motherfucker. Fast as hell. I can't imagine the next 40 years, 50 years. They're trying to stop people from coming and kicking people out, but the ones who are already here and got a good foothold and a good foundation, man, look. America gonna be brown in 50 years. And this pattern on his jacket just seems so difficult for some reason. Like, why am I struggling so hard with this thing? Struggling extra hard. That one little spot, I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of tricky up in there. Got too many folds in this one area. I can't hardly differentiate, man. Which wrinkle am I looking at? Man, they 17 wrinkles. All of them got blue flowers on it. Hold up, man. I gotta track my eyes. You gotta track my eyes. Got a one-track mind. How about like surprise, motherfucker? Large fries, motherfucker. Suit and tie, motherfucker. I'm gonna do that on the Suno track. I'm gonna do that. Surprise, motherfucker. Large fries. I forgot the other ones. Now I gotta find that. Hold on.
Rise, motherfucker. Some pies, motherfucker. All rise, motherfucker. Wrong size, motherfucker. Rise, motherfucker. Some pies, motherfucker. All rise, motherfucker. Wrong size, motherfucker.
Surprise, some pies, motherfucker. Wrong size, motherfucker. All rise, motherfucker. I gotta do that one more time, yo.
Cell phone radiation is bad for you.
Oh, it's coming.
Cancer. It causes. What we did is remove children with their mothers who requested their children depart with them. This was a parental decision. Parenting 101. The mothers made that choice. And I tell you what, if we didn't do it, the story today would be Trump administration.
I'm so happy he said that, because that would be the exact story. Oh, they separating families. They separating families. Trump trying to take kids away. He's stealing babies. This was a parental decision. That's parenting 101. I'm leaving the country, man. My kids coming with me.
Again, no, we're keeping families together. So when parent says, I want my 2-year-old baby to go with me, we made that happen. They weren't deported. We don't deport U.S. citizens. The parents made that decision, not the United States government. But I don't hear any questions about Laken Riley had a mother. She's never going to see her child again. Rachel Morin, she had 5 children. Those children are never going to see their mom again. This administration is doing the right thing.
Yeah, so this segues into our next story, because on top of this whole storyline that Trump has deported American citizens, they're trying to use the bad polling numbers that came out over the weekend, which are flawed, by the way. And that's not just me being a partisan hack. There's actually some truth to it, which we'll talk about here shortly. But this is an effort to continue to control the narrative, because that's what mainstream media would like to do. They leave out the fact that the mothers were illegal aliens. They leave out the fact when they publish these polls that it's majority Democrats answering them. So just to give you a little taste of what they're saying about President Trump's approval ratings, listen to this clip.
What do you think is fueling Trump's drop in support in the polls? There are so many things that people expect from him, especially the economy.
So many promises made too by the president as well, not only on the campaign trail, but certainly in these first 100 days. If you look at this right here, if you look at some of the issues, what is fueling this right now, it shows it's really across the board right now. And if you look at where he was in mid-February and you look where he is right now, he is underwater on every issue, from a minimum of 3 percentage points to a maximum of 9 percentage points, specifically when it comes to inflation and the economy, as you point out, which is supposed to be his, his expertise at this point. What's also interesting, just overall too, Sarah, is that he is down 7 points from late February, as we know him being an all-time low. That is an amazing drop in such a short period of time. So Donald Trump right now is having to deal with some of this, some of the fallout with the reality that many of his programs that he's trying to institute, and many of his cuts that he's trying to institute, are just not taking hold.
All right, now let me share some context with you so you can understand my thinking, okay? When CNN releases a poll that favors President Trump, the reason why we talk about it and celebrate it is because we already know inherently most of the people that are being polled are not Trump supporters. So when CNN releases a negative poll of President Trump, factor that in still. But let's first debunk this. Now, they say, according to CNN, he's underwater on immigration. They have him at 45%. However, when you look at the CBS poll that came out during the same time, they have him at 56% approval rating on immigration. And you guys know that President Trump had to respond to these polls. He said the great pollster John McLaughlin, one of the most highly respected in the industry, has just stated that the failing New York Times and ABC Washington polls about a person named Donald J. Trump me are fake polls from fake news organizations. The New York Times has only 37% of Trump voters, and the ABC Washington Post poll only has 34% of Trump voters. Unheard of numbers unless looking for a negative result, which they are. Now, picking up where we left off yesterday, where Democrats spent 12 hours on the steps of the Capitol, spewing nonsense about how they're going to fight President Trump and not necessarily create solutions for everyday Americans. You have now the governor of Illinois coming out and saying he wants mass protests in the streets against Republicans. Listen to this.
Never before in my life have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption, but I am now. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. They have to understand that we will fight their cruelty with every megaphone and microphone that we have. We must castigate them on the soapbox and then punish them at the ballot box.
So the reaction here is that if President Trump or Republicans were speaking that way, we know how mainstream media would react. They would say that the president is inciting violence, he's acting like Hitler, he's being an authoritarian leader, all of these same talking points, right? And the whole point here is to highlight the hypocrisy and show you what both sides are really saying here. And I'm of the opinion that when people speak like this, I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican, you're not helping, okay? Because that just creates a more divisive environment. That's just my own personal opinion. And now I want to hear your personal opinion. What do you think about the media continuing to run with this story about a 4-year-old, 7-year-old, and 2-year-old being deported when we know the mother was an illegal alien and requested them to go with her? That's number one. Number two, what about these polls that you're seeing come out from mainstream media? Do you buy them? Do you think they're accurate? Do you think America is just fed up with President Trump in these first 100 days? And more importantly, what do you think is the biggest accomplishment from President Trump in his first 100 days? Just give me all your thoughts and answers in the comments section below. Now, speaking about accomplishments here, President Trump yesterday announced a major tax update. This would impact Americans earning $200,000 or less. If you missed that on that update and stories from yesterday, all you have to do is click on that video because it's coming up right now.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. So if you want to talk to your kids, you got to get it trending. I was just trying to get your attention.
I just asked her. Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
A little bit more.
Do a whole lot more than just whole milk with the Espresso Collection by KitchenAid.
The Joe Rogan Experience. The translation into like the super intelligence scenario is if we don't have our reps in, if we don't know how to reach out and touch an adversary and induce consequence for them doing the same to us, then we have no deterrence at all. Like we're basically just sitting right now. The state of security is the labs are like super, and like we can and probably should go deep on that piece, but like as one data point, right? So there's like double-digit percentages of the world's top AI labs or America's top AI labs
of
employees that are like Chinese nationals or have ties to the Chinese mainland, right? So that's great. Why don't we build the Manhattan
Yeah, it's
Project?
really funny, right?
Like,
That's so stupid.
But it's also like the challenge is when you talk to people who actually, when you talk to people who actually have experience dealing with like CCP activity in this space, right? Like there's one story that we heard that is probably worth like relaying here. It's like this guy from an intelligence agency was saying like, hey, so there was this power outage out in Berkeley, California back in like 2019 or something. And the internet goes out across the whole campus. And so there's this dorm and like all of the Chinese students are freaking out because they have an obligation to do a time-based check-in and basically report back on everything they've seen and heard to basically a CCP handler type thing.
Right.
And if they don't, like, maybe your mother's insulin doesn't show up. Maybe your like brother's travel plans get denied. Maybe a family business gets shut down. Like, there's the range of options that this massive CCP state coercion machine has. This is like, they've got internal like software for this. Like, this is an institutionalized, like very well developed and efficient framework for just ratcheting up pressure on individuals overseas. And they believe the Chinese diaspora overseas belongs to them. If you look at like what the Chinese Communist Party writes in its written like public communications, they see like Chinese ethnicity as being agreed. Like, it is like no one is a bigger victim of this than the Chinese people themselves who are abroad, who have made amazing contributions to American AI innovation. You just have to look at the names on the friggin' papers. It's like these guys are wicked. But the problem is, we also have to look head on at this reality. Like, you can't just be like, oh, I'm not going to say it because it makes me feel funny inside. Someone has to stand up and point out the obvious, that if you're going to build a fucking Manhattan Project for superintelligence, and the idea is to like be doing that when China is a key rival nation state actor, yeah, you're going to have to find a way to account for the personnel security side. Like, at some point, someone's going to have to do something about that.
And it's like, you can see they're hitting us right where we're weak, right? Like, America is the place where you come and you remake yourself, like, send us you're tired and you're hungry and you're poor. And
which is true and important.
It's true and important. They're playing right off of that because they know that we just don't want to look at that problem.
Yeah. And Chinese nationals working on these things is just bananas. The fact they have to check in with the CCP.
Yeah.
And are they being monitored? I mean, how much can you monitor them? What do you know that they have? What equipment have they been given?
You can't constitutionally, right?
Yeah,
you
the best part, constitutionally, it's also, you can't legally deny someone employment on that basis in a private company. So that's something else we found and we're kind of amazed by. And even honestly, just like the regular kind of government clearance process itself is inadequate. It moves way too slowly, and it doesn't actually even in the government. We're talking about top secret clearances. The information that they like look at for top secret, we heard from a couple of people, doesn't include a lot of like key sources. So for example, it doesn't include like foreign language sources. So if the head of the Ministry of State Security in China writes a blog post that says like, Bob is like the best spy. He spied so hard for us, and he's like an awesome spy. If that blog post is written in Chinese, we're not going to see it, and we're going to be like, "Here's your clearance, Bob. Congratulations!" Like, and we were like, that can't possibly be real, but like, yeah, they're like, "Yep, that's true."
No one's looking. It's complete naivete.
If there's gaps in
every level of
a lot of the
One of the worst things here is like the physical infrastructure. So the personnel thing is like fucked up. The physical infrastructure thing is another area where people don't want to look, because if you start looking, what you start to realize is, okay, China makes like a lot of our like components for our transformers for the electrical grid, yeah, but also all these chips that are going into our big data centers for these massive training runs. Where do they come from? They come from Taiwan. They come from this company called TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. We're increasingly onshoring that, by the way, which is one of the best things that's been happening lately, is like massive amounts of TSMC capacity getting onshored in the US, but still being made.
I own stocks in Taiwan Semiconductors for that very reason. For that very reason. They make most of the chips that go in most of our shit. They're very big, very, very big company. And they're worth a lot. And they're not going anywhere anytime soon. So once I learned about those guys, I was like, oh yeah, let me get a little something. Let me get a little piece of the action, man. Y'all do what? Making chips. Computer chips and stuff like that for the electronics and stuff. Oh, y'all some smart motherfuckers over here, huh? Yeah. Let me get a little piece of that. Let me get a little piece of the action. That's a little slice. Not the whole pie. Just a little slice. I haven't invested in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, really. But this pay period, definitely think I need to invest. I was definitely watching the market too, because shit was kind of shaky for a minute. Make sure everybody gonna hold on. Everybody like buy low, and I know buy low, nigga, but wait a minute. Yeah, but the stock market is just fine. Everything is just fine. Go ahead and keep investing for that retirement. Go ahead and invest for that retirement. Okay, when you get old, you gotta have a little nest egg, you know, a little Roth IRA, goddamn little 401k. You know what I'm saying? A couple little stock dividends here and there. You know what I'm saying? A little something like that. That might hold you over for the long run. Might hold you over for a long run. Oh man. Oh boy. I feel like I can get a bigger brush for some of these flower sections now. I think I need a bigger brush. Getting in the bigger brush. Darn. A moment of silence for the beautiful painting. A moment of silence for all creation. You're not lying about that, Wendy. Silence is golden. All right, we got another little section of leaves on his shirt done. That's coming along pretty nice, actually. I'm kind of feeling that right there. Yeah, that should look good to me. We're gonna cut it right there, guys. We're gonna chill out for a little bit. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do any Gundam this evening. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do too much anything other than play some video games, really. I'm getting hungry though. I had grilled chicken and salad for lunch. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do for dinner. So I had egg rolls last night. I had grilled chicken for lunch. So I guess I can do brats. I'll eat a brat for dinner. Get these brushes nice and clipped up, so we're not coming in here looking like Boo Boo the Fool tomorrow. Nigga, you must think I'm Boo Boo the Fool. That's who I ain't. I'm gonna let you know right now. That's who I ain't. All right, guys. I sure appreciate you every time, all the time, because you come through on time and help regulate. Oh, sure appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Can't do it without pushing the mods. Hey, we made some progress today. A little bit, not much. I got confused in this area because I got one, two, three wrinkles, and one of them has a deep shadow here, and it was like it was throwing me off for a whole minute. This wrinkle carries down and through. Uh-oh, where's this cord at? Uh-oh, I'm stuck. I was getting confused about if this crease and this crease were the same, and like where was this crease going, and this crease right here actually comes down lower than I thought it did in this area where the shadow is at. So here is what was fucking me up. So this deep shadow here, and then that one there. See, because this shadow, it kind of stops right at this rose. And I'm like, oh. So when I started painting, I thought this top line and this line were actually together, but it's not. So this shadow comes lower than this top fold here. And then you have a crease like through that rose. Then the shadow goes back here and gets dark again right there. It was just, I was like, man, look, but we got it. So we got, you see that shadow gets dark back here. The one crease in the middle of that rose, this shadow goes up, but this one goes above. And then most of the leaves in there. I think when I started putting the line work, when I start adding those lines to the leaves and flowers, is when like a lot more of the contrast of the folds and wrinkles will show itself. Does painting a mural present challenges to someone who has painted a mural? The girl in Los Angeles, they asked her to paint a mural and she said yes. Oh, murals are extremely difficult because you got to have like I don't know, a lot of stuff to do a mural. And then that's depending on if it's inside or outside and how big it is. It just takes a lot of time and effort to do a mural, especially outside murals. But that's just my opinion. You know, I don't think murals are easy because they're so big. They're so big. You got to make sure your perspectives and everything is correct. Your proportions have to be correct because it's easy to lose track of perspective and proportion on a larger scale, because if a mural is big enough, you can't, if you're up close while you're working on the mural, you can't see the whole thing, you know, so you always got to stand back far enough to make sure you can see the whole image to keep everything in perspective. But while you're working on it, you can't constantly back away and then come up and back away, like, and that depends once again on how big the mural is. So, and the only like large scale mural I did outside, I ain't like that shit. It was in the summertime, it was hot as hell in the sun all day. You on the fucking bucket scissor lift going up and down, especially using like spray cans. You got to keep the respirator on the whole time, and like using the big brushes and rollers is just messy as fuck. Like and even some of the lower parts, you got to use like ladders and stuff to reach, and then even before you start painting, you got to like prep a wall. Like if you're going to do a mural on the wall, like there's no wall that's perfect, so you got to at least wash the wall off make sure your paint's gonna stick. And most times, like surfaces need some kind of patching or repair or at least scraping of the old paint off or stuff like that. Like, it's murals are a lot. The inside wall. I don't know. I mean, inside in a bedroom, like a bedroom wall, that's not too bad. Like I said, you can just stand across the room and see the whole picture. So if you can do that you can do that by yourself easy. I thought it's like a bigger mural. Like if it's anything bigger than that, you probably need help. Or it's gonna take you a long time. Or you should start on some smaller stuff like that first before you try to tackle a bigger mural. Well, you got to start somewhere. Like I say, for me personally, I just like to sit down inside and paint. I don't like standing up and painting. And so that's already a no-no for me when it comes to like doing murals and shit. So to each their own though, because I got a couple of buddies and the only thing they ever do is murals. That's the only thing they do is murals all the time. So some people love it. I don't personally like doing murals, but they just feel like too much work to me. And most of the time, people do murals to get paid, and it's a job that somebody else is paying you to do. Because most of the time, if you just go paint on a random wall somewhere, it's called graffiti, and normally you do that for free. So it always seems like a mural is always a job too. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody's hiring you to paint what they want you to paint. You know, and that's another reason I don't really like doing murals. It's always a gig. It's never like for, oh, the passion. I'm just doing this for the love of painting. No. And I don't like my art to feel like a job. So I let other people handle murals, and I'll do this kind of painting. Right. Oh, all right. Sorry for my answer to the question. I didn't feel like a good answer, but like I say, if it's just something on the inside, a little small one, jump on it, test the waters, try it out, make some mistakes, and learn from that shit. And then you can do a bigger and better one next time, and then a bigger and better one after that. And you just practice and grow. But are murals easy was the main question? No, they're not. What I do isn't easy. You know, being artistic ain't easy at all. So, but if that's what you want to do, it can be done. And if you have any talent at all, just take your time. Don't rush through it, and you'll end up with a pretty nice project at the end. And like I say, more than likely, it's for a paycheck that somebody's going to pay you. So that's awesome too. Oh, no, thank you. I don't take calls from strangers. I'm sorry. I don't normally take calls from strangers, but yeah. You can clip this portion of this live stream and send it to her, or tell her to find this episode and click in at the 2 hour or at the 1 hour and 58-minute mark, and she can probably re-listen to this conversation right here. But anyway, guys, appreciate y'all chilling with me in the studio. I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.